gentlemen, welcome to the Sock Monkey Mike Show, where you guys can listen now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all your podcasting formats now. It's actually kind of crazy in 2021 that you could actually do that now. But hey, that's what technology is for. But if you are watching on YouTube and you're actually going to watch the full thing, I do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, because not a lot of people do that. So while you're at it, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I have a very interesting guest today. This individual, wow. I've been watching his stuff for the past couple days, and let me tell you, when it comes to power, when it comes to intensity, this man is the definition of intensity and power. Has worked with companies such as Game Changer Wrestling, especially with their 24-hour show that they produced on YouTube. I believe that you guys could find that on still. And not only that, but he's also trained with the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy. It seems like with the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, I've already talked to Travis Titan, Benjamin Carter. I also talked to a couple others. Merrick Brave himself I did talk to as well. And now I'm talking to another great student of a very unique class as well. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the one, the only Conan Lycan. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, surviving 2021. I guess the chapter 2 coming.
Yeah. That's the word on the streets right now. So,
you got to do what you have to do to not just survive, of course, a typical year, but just everyday life.
Yeah, dude. Freaking, oh man, 2020 was tough, but like, I still think, like, everyone thought, like, all the vaccines and all that stuff coming out and everything's gonna subside soon. I still think that, like, we're not even close to having like crowds back and all that stuff. So that's like, it's pretty bad on like our part. So like, all you can really do now is just train and try to make the most of it, go to the shows and do tapings, like pre-tapings and all that stuff. But I don't know, man, it's tough for a wrestler these days.
Of course, but I mean, there are some wrestling companies out there, like, for example, Game Changer Wrestling, that does do crowds. Of course, they're following guidelines with social distance and putting masks on throughout the entire show. Can you at least talk about, like, what that experience has been like for you?
Oh, man, like, just like the travel and everything like that, like, it's been insane because we have to take like real like precautions like when we're coming back to our school and all that stuff. So like we'll go out and we'll do the shows, and we just gotta, it's weird not having like a maximum crowd, you know, and like getting the reaction that you're supposed to be looking for when you're like wrestling and all that stuff. So you gotta just like really improvise and try to just like work on all like the little things and everything like that. But when we come back to home base, which is out here in Iowa, to train at Black and Brave and all that stuff, we have to get tested before we're allowed back in the gym. And I don't know, it's just been a process, but I don't know, it's just one of those things that like if you want it, you're going to do it anyway. So it's a handful of us just out there just really like continuing to like grind and try to get past all this bad stuff. But we're getting there.
Little by little, we're getting there. I mean, of course, we see a lot more independent wrestling shows come back. We see a lot more stuff coming back. But at least it's nice to know that wrestling is still going on. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. That's always a good thing.
And one other thing I do want to point out, too, is just the fact that, you're still going strong, especially during a pandemic. Of course, everybody has said that it has impacted them the horrible way that it did, along not just with professional wrestlers or athletes or broadcasters, but just everybody in general. But for you in particular, how much did this pandemic, once it hit and everything started shutting down, was that like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or was there anything similar?
Well, so when I graduated from Black and Brave back in 2018, and it took me forever to get booked because like out in New York, it's not like a huge scene for like wrestling. And a lot of people say the East Coast is, but it's not because I live there, so whatever. And like it just took forever to get booked. So like once I started getting the ball rolling with all that, we actually started getting hit with all this Corona stuff, and then I was in the process of moving out here, so it was just like, oh man, because I was expecting to hit the ground running when I came out here because it's me and a bunch of other dudes and like Ben Carter, that's my boy, it's my roommate, or was, and we were going to be going to all these shows every single week, multiple shows a week and all that stuff, and doing what we could. And I came out here and it was just dead, and it really screwed up like a lot. But like I said, like with the small opportunities that we do get to like go out there and actually work, like we're just going to take it. So we just been hopping in the car and going. But yeah, it's definitely slowed down the process of like learning, because it's all about like repetition and all that stuff. And for me, I mean, what you've already seen, I mean, I've had a lot of multi-man matches, but I've only had 9 singles matches to the day. So I'm out here just still trying to learn everything that I possibly can, and that's only going to happen in front of a crowd with a live audience and wrestling people that are as good, if not better than me. So yeah, it's definitely taken a big shot on this whole learning curve in the beginning of my career. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a problem with learning. I always kind of take it into an account by this one wrestler. I don't know if you know him. He's kind of famous. He's known as Mike Kanellis in WWE, aka Mike Bennett, who always says process over outcome, which I always really value, because it is truly the process within anything that you do, not just professional wrestling broadcasting or just anything in general. You know, it's always about just the work that you put in. That's what, you know, I always value in life.
Yeah, exactly. And they teach us that at Black and Brave. Like they tell every single class, like they're just giving us our own tools to like paint our own picture and all that stuff. And it's one of those things that like you're gonna get out of it what you put in. And if you don't put in the work and you're mediocre about everything like that, you're going to get mediocre results. And like if you're just doing this just to have fun on the indies and all that stuff, then you can do that too. There's no problem with that. But if you really want to like push the limits and make it and get your name out there and stuff like that, then you it's necessary to be on the road. It's necessary to be going to all the shows and getting in front of all these people. And I mean, that's what you got to do. So I mean, they teach you that early on, and when you come to this academy, and it's a good thing.
Oh yeah, especially learning lessons like that. One of the things I was curious about too is that I spoke to actually Merrick a long time ago, which you guys could check out. I don't mean to plug in this own interview, but make sure you guys go check that out as well. You know, just how much he values just learning the real things of professional wrestling, just different kind of like any other typical wrestling school, just kind of the aspects that not a lot of people, especially professional wrestlers, think about. What was it like kind of, you know, learning that side of the business? Was it something that you were excited about, or was it something that you had to learn more and more without time?
Well, when I like came to Black and Brave and all that stuff, like I was just like, I wasn't like a big, like, I didn't even know what like the indies were. I didn't know like all that stuff. I was just like huge fan of WWE. I was obsessed since I was like 3 years old, all that stuff. And when I got here, just like the knowledge between Merrick and Seth is just like crazy. So it was just like I just wanted to soak everything up like a sponge and just listen to everything that they had to say. And they teach you all the little things, and it's just like amazing because you could go to them for anything and they have an answer. And they've done it themselves, like climbing through the indies before Colby got signed to WWE and all that stuff. He was doing all that, and Merrick was his tag team partner, and they just know everything. So it was amazing to like come here and just learn from the best and people that are currently like involved in this and all that stuff, because they know exactly what to do, and they're still younger dudes that like they could give quality advice that you could just like listen to, and I mean it works. So yeah, I mean it was the best decision I ever made to come to Black and Brave. So
yeah, especially being a part of a 2018 class. You know, you look at all the classes that have graduated from that academy throughout the years. I mean, some of the names that have came and really made an impact in the professional wrestling business. I'm talking about, of course, your roommate, Benjamin Carter, who's currently signed to NXT UK. But not only that, he made waves way before he got signed to NXT UK. But not only that, you know, people like Travis Titan, who has been making waves as well. Just knowing that all these former graduates are making waves, including yourself, just knowing that the Black and Brave Academy have been producing these students since the stars, like, does that make you kind of think back and like, wow, like I'm so glad that I graduated from that class?
Yeah, it's definitely something that like me and all the other graduates like talk about a lot. And like me and Ben were in the same class together, and we had like Travis, Steve Manders, Dion Roosman, all those guys, they were ahead of us and all that stuff, and they were the guys that stuck around and everything. And when we came back and we were just spending time with all those guys, we were just like, we really lucked out like coming to this school, because like everyone here is so good, and we're all taught like the next level things. Like we're taught like we are in NXT already, so we have that leg up because of who our trainers are, and then just like all the inside stuff too. So yeah, like we talk about it all the time. We're like, what if we all went to like different wrestling schools, or if we just didn't apply when we did to get in the same class and all that stuff. Like, I don't know, there's definitely a bunch of dudes, and I do truly believe in my heart that the Black and Brave will have a handful of guys like in the future that will be doing some serious things, and it'll just be like, oh yeah, he's a Black and Brave guy. So yeah, I truly believe that, and I do think that we're so lucky to like we have the like facility to like take advantage of, and just being able to like pick their brains too. It's just, how could you not be successful with all that?
Oh, I agree with you at 100%. I mean, how could you not be successful with Seth Rollins being a multi-time WWE champion, Universal champion, CrossFit Jesus, as they say. And of course, you have Merrick Brave, who former professional wrestler and knows so much about the business inside and out. And just having the workout aspect into it, as well as the wrestling side to it, to make sure you guys are in condition and in training. It's truly something special. It's like Disneyland in a sense.
Oh yeah, it's amazing just to go down, because like we had the apartment right behind the gym, so like every morning we just go down, lift weights, do ring work. I don't know, it's just awesome to just be there all day, every day, and just get every little bit of like knowledge we can, and repetitions that we can, and all that stuff. So like yeah, it's definitely like the most legit thing ever. Like it's great.
And how did you hear about the academy? Because a lot of students have different kind of avenues or stories about how they found out. So what was kind of that start for you?
So it's kind of like it's a funny story. So I played Division I football in New York, and one of the dudes that I played football with in high school went and played Division I football out here in University of Iowa.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was the running back, and Steve Manders was the fullback for Iowa at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked like it was crazy, and I probably would have found Black and Brave anyways, because I've already heard of it. But like having that in where I called my friend, and I was leaving college, like I was done. I was like, I don't want to play football anymore. I just want to be a wrestler. I was like, can I talk to Steve? And he put me on the phone with Steve. I talked to him about the school. I applied right away, got in, and just moved out to Iowa and never looked back. So yeah, I really got so lucky with that, and it was such like a crazy coincidence for me that I was like, you played football with a dude that is going to the place that I am like super interested in. So I knew about Black and Brave, like all the outs and ins before ins and outs before I even came. Like a year before I came, I talked to Steve, so it worked out.
Having that connection is so important, especially not just with professional wrestling, but also just life in general. It's all about networking.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's what I love about the professional wrestling scene, is because not only you're networking, not with just within that little circle, but you're also networking with the fans. You're networking with people that apparently a fan knows Seth Rollins, and apparently he knows this guy and he knows this guy. It's just so crazy how it can turn out sometimes.
Oh yeah. It's wrestling is just like a crazy thing, man. Like just even weekly, just going on shows with some of the people that I've watched when I was a little kid, to like being friends with most of these people now and all that stuff. Like wrestling works in mysterious ways, man.
And one of the mysterious things that I do get from Conan Lycan himself is, I'm pulling up your Instagram right now, and the first thing that pops up is this t-shirt design. And that's actually a t-shirt design from actually October 20th of last year. And I'm actually curious of the quote here that states, "Lie to the liars, steal from the thieves." And it has a great wolf logo. I'm hoping that's a wolf. So can you talk to us about how that quote really kind of sticks with you?
I don't know, man. Like once I heard that, it just like something that just like resonated with me like immediately and all that stuff. I don't know. I had a tough childhood and all that stuff. I've had a lot of people that weren't really real with me and all that stuff, and I've been lied to a lot. And not to like go any like into like any darker things, but like yeah, I have that kind of fu mentality, and if people are gonna not be real with me, then I'm not gonna respect you, and I'm not gonna take you. I'm never gonna like take your word for anything, and that's kind of just how I am. Like I'm a really good dude. I give everyone a benefit of the doubt, but as soon as I get like screwed over, I'm kind of done with all that, and I wash my hands with it, and I'm done. But yeah, I'm a very positive person. I like to keep positive people around me. I have a small circle, and I'm not really that type of person that's out there like looking to like kiss ass and all that stuff. I appreciate people that are real, and I mean that's where that comes from for me.
I mean, that's great. I mean, of course, I value myself as a positive person as well. Just kind of like for me, and this is an example, if you guys want to check that out, is I value others' happiness and seeing them happy and like something that's like that I impacted them in any way or shape or form. And seeing them happy because of that means more than anything money can buy.
Yeah,
And that's what I love is that whenever I hear someone spreading positivity, whether that's, wrestling or just a regular guy in general, I think that's more important now, especially now, more than anything right now.
yeah.
So one other thing I do want to mention too is the name Conan Lycan. Now, of course, when people think of Conan, they think of a barbarian, of course, and that's kind of fitting because you are a strongman, kind of professional wrestler. You do have that background in sports and in football. Where did the name come up for you for your ring name?
So Jason Momoa, the guy that plays Aquaman and everything like that, I get told that I look like Jason Momoa all the time. And
Right.
like, don't get me wrong, good looking dude, I'll take it. But like yeah, I just like I watched one of like Conan the Barbarian, he played in the remake, and I don't know, I like that movie a lot, and I was like, okay, like I'll use that name. And then there's a lot of wolves on the indies. There's a lot of people that like wolves, but like wolves are my like favorite animals and all that stuff. And I was just like, what's different from that, but kind of the same, And a lichen is a wolf, so I was just like Conan Lycan, threw it together. Didn't really get married to it. I just like I'm using it. I know that throughout time it'll probably change, probably won't. I don't know, but right now I'm rocking with it and I like it. So yeah.
I mean, that's a great combination. I mean, a barbarian wolf. I mean, trust me, that's going to go huge in the professional wrestling business.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of people like it, but a lot of people don't. So I don't know. It's different.
And one thing we did mention in this interview is that you are roommates or former roommates with one Benjamin Carter. Can you talk to us about kind of gaining that relationship with not just himself, but other Black and Brave Wrestling Academy graduates?
Black and Brave, you once you make it through this like academy and stuff like that, that's a bond right there. Like we really grinded out for like the whole camp, and yeah, it's like me and Ben, like I said, like we were in class together, so we as soon as we met, we actually like really hit it off well, and like we were like really close. And then we had to share a room together at the Black and Brave. We had a bunkhouse that we had to share a room together for like a long period of time, and then just recently we decided to get an apartment, which he only was here for a couple weeks and then took off. But yeah, all the graduates, like we're all so cool with each other. It's a bond. Like it's really a family here at Black and Brave, and like it takes a lot to graduate, but like once you graduate, it's all worth it. Like and you just see it immediately after you graduate, the way that you're treated or all that stuff. Like it's just very welcoming.
It's truly paying your dues as well, because of course you're putting in that passion, you're putting in that work as well.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone realizes too, like it's like you're a reflection of the school and Seth and Merrick and all that stuff too. So it's like if you're gonna have our name on you, that everyone wants to know that you're worthy of that and that you're actually gonna work hard and stuff. They don't want a bunch of guys out there that are just, acting up or just like really burning bridges with people and stuff like that, because everyone from here is they're very respectful and hardworking and all that stuff. And that's like what we try to reflect over here at Black and Brave.
Yeah, and having that reflection and that message of just everybody's family, we put each other down, of course, sometimes, but of course, we try to bring each other up at the same time. It's always great to have that family, kind of that NXT kind of feel.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I'm very curious about as well is that, of course, when 2020 had hit, of course, after the 2 good months that we had, um, everything had shut down. But there was actually some opportunities on television that were still producing some wrestling, and of course, World Wrestling Entertainment. How could we not forget about that? But also All Elite Wrestling and, of course, Impact Wrestling. Those are kind of the three main professional wrestling companies that just kind of kept going. There's three things that happen: death, taxes, and Impact Wrestling still still coming. So one thing I do have to ask is, of course, you're still going strong, especially with 2021 coming along. Will there be a possible chance that we might see Conan Lycan in our television screens or on YouTube, Twitch, whatever the case may be, with Impact Wrestling, World Wrestling Entertainment, or AEW in the future?
Yeah, there's a big chance of that. So that's what we're working towards now, and I know that I'll achieve that. And yeah, we're just working on it, man. And if this pandemic wasn't a thing, and there was more repetitions and more shows and more opportunity to get your name out there and all that stuff, then I would assume that it would be happening sooner than later. But right now, just doing what I can, and I could only control what I can control. And yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Speaking about that, I'm very, a matchup just came in my mind that would be perfect if we're going the AEW route. I think Conan Lycan versus Brian Cage would be a perfect match for your debut.
Oh yeah. It's amazing too. Like he's a really cool guy. And Ben actually faced him at Warrior Wrestling in Chicago a few months ago when we were there. And yeah, Brian's a really cool guy. A couple of the other graduates from Black and Brave, my Australian friends, are actually really close with him too. So I've known about him for a while. But yeah, he's a monster. He really is a machine.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's him, and of course, there's this other one of Team Taz. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Powerhouse, aka Will Hobbs. I think that would be another good one.
Oh yeah, he's a big dude. All that stuff. Yeah, man. A lot of people they love to say that they would like to see me in there with like a lot of like bigger dudes just like brawling out and all that stuff. But I'm down for anything, man. I'd like to pride myself on being just an athlete, and I'm not going to back down from anyone. So yeah.
And you have to take credit where credit's due. This man, ladies and gentlemen, actually faced two men simultaneously at one point in a handicap match and absolutely destroyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I mean, what was that experience like? I mean, of course, we could say it's handicap matches, they're smaller guys, whatever. But I mean, it had to be some sort of challenge for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm really just taking it by like what I'm asked to do and stuff like that. If someone says that I gotta face Hercules, I'm gonna take it. Like there was two dudes. They told me that that's what I had to do, and I just went in there and did what I could, and it didn't turn out well for them. But yeah, man, I'll face anyone. I'm all for all that.
Well, hopefully any challenge and all challenges, we will see Conan Lycan take it to the initiative and go forward. But one thing I'm actually curious about too is that, of course, you're very, very, very a loving guy, and you always take everything as a family. You take your graduates as family. You have your own family as well. How much does family mean to you?
Family is a big deal to me. I don't have, when it comes to wrestling and following my dream and all that stuff, I only have a seldom amount of people in my life that actually support me and stuff like that. I got a handful of friends at home and just like a few people in my family that truly, truly care about me and what I'm doing and all that stuff. And they don't have to be blood. When you're in that inner circle with me, I'll be good to you for the rest of my life. And I mean, it's not that many people. So one day when I do get in the position where I can pay it back, I mean, it's going to be very rewarding for me. I love the people that are good to me, and I'll always be good back. So, yeah, man, it means the world to me, because if I didn't have that support, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. And, yeah, it's just like a really cool thing. So yeah, family means the world to me.
Oh yeah, it means the world to not just yourself, but everybody. One thing I always pride myself of saying as well is that I always support those that supported me. And it's always like, oh, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's nothing like that. It's always more of, I just genuinely like to support people and just, showcasing your story like yourself and others in all these interviews. It's always great to just, showcase the other person. I'm just somebody. I'm just like, I have a podcast. This is me. I'm here. The actual person is the real highlight of the show.
Yeah.
All right, Conan. Well, I do want to thank you so much for joining me on this conversation. It was great to have some positive vibes going and getting this dialogue going.
Yeah, dude, of course. No, I appreciate it so much. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, before we go, I do have one final question. It may seem like a million questions, but I do have that one final question for you. And that is, in any roster, in any promotion, whether that's Impact Wrestling, AEW, WWE, is there one in particular opponent that you would love to wrestle? Whether that's, sometime in this year, sometime in maybe the next few years, is there's that one in particular person that you would say this would be the highlight match of my career?
So my dream match.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tied now, so I'll explain why.
Mm-hmm.
My dream match has always been to face Seth Rollins, my trainer, and I really think that would be an unbelievable storyline to get into. I've always, like, since the day that I seen him on my TV screen, I was like, that is the guy. Like, he's amazing. Him and Roman, all that stuff. But yeah, I've always wanted to face him. But now, even more interesting, Ben, dude, that was in my class, my roommate, my best friend in wrestling, and I just think every time I get to wrestle him, it's always amazing. And then, like, hopefully thinking that in the future that we'll be able to do it again. That really, like, that's something I want to happen. So yeah, I'm kind of torn between the two. Maybe we could get a triple threat going, and that would be the dream. But no, that is definitely the two people in my mind that I'm like, if everything goes perfectly and I get to face them at the next level and all that stuff for a big pay-per-view, I would be like, this is the most surreal thing ever. So yeah, we're working towards that, and hopefully that's what happens in the next few years. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, we cannot wait for that match to happen. Once again, Conan, thank you so much. If you guys are curious, you're like, oh, how can I find Conan Lycan on social media? Well, I have a link down below where you can find all of his social media. You guys could check out his highlights from 2020, 2021, 2019, wherever you could. Actually, you could just look up Conan Lycan on Google and search the name up, and you definitely will find all of his matches there. And once again, my friend, thank you so much. And for those who are listening, make sure you guys check him out. And I'm horrible at outros. So yeah. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys in the next interview.
Thanks so much, man.